All right guys, today we're gonna work on the 67 Karmann Ghia. This is the hood and it's still got most of the original paint on it. A little bit of rust. If you watched the last video, you saw where we were using a laser to clean some of this off. And this is where we used the DA 80 grit. And I'm gonna get a 40 grit on the DA. And we're gonna try to take off some of that top layer. Laser works pretty good, but it's not exactly the texture I'm looking for. I'm looking for this right here. So let's see when we get this cleaned up, get it ready for body work, primer, filler. The goal is to try to get this Ghia back on the road here in about 3 months, possibly, maybe 6, who knows. In between working on the Ghia, we're gonna work on the Beetle, the 914, and some other stuff, but the main focus will be the Ghia, and I'm thinking we might be able to get it back on the road in a little while, hopefully. Waiting on some more parts for the rear. A couple of rear sections here I need to get to keep it going. So today we're gonna work on this hood, get it stripped down, get it ready for primer. Let's do it. We're gonna just barely lightly go over the surface with this 40 grit. It's pretty strong, so we don't wanna dig into the metal too much, if at all. And we're using the Ingersoll Rand 328B 8-inch geared orbital sander. This thing's a beast, so let's see what happens. Thought it was going to cut a little stronger than that. It's cutting, but not as strong as I thought. Let's try putting a fresh piece on here. That one's been on there a while. All right, got a fresh piece of 40. See if that helps. Seems to be helping a little bit better. Hey guys, when I'm not working on the cars, I'm learning how to work on the cars, and I use Classic Car Restoration Club. They have thousands of how-to videos on how to work on your classic car. The first 1,000 people to click the link will get a full year of premium membership to Classic Car Restoration Club for only $1.49. What are you waiting for? That's amazing. A whole year for $1.49. Premium video topics include body work, car maintenance, chassis work, dashboard and gauges, drivetrain, engine and transmission, electronics, glass, window and seals, paint, safety, suspension, tires and brakes, tools, upholstery and carpet, welding, and much more. Classic Car Restoration Club is an online community of knowledgeable, like-minded classic car enthusiasts where members can advance their skills, learn new techniques, and discover tons of step-by-step restoration techniques. At CCRC, we know that your ride is more than a car for you. It's a lifestyle. We want to be your favorite place for feeding that passion by learning new techniques, getting inspired by new ideas, and connecting with other collectors who feel the same way as you. Become a member today. I want to thank Classic Car Restoration Club for being a sponsor of this video. Thank you guys, I appreciate it. It's getting there. It's just, man, the paint, there's 2 or 3 layers of paint plus primer and some rust. And I was trying to be, you know, not too aggressive, just kind of letting it float on the top, putting a little pressure here and there. You can see where I ran over the 80 grit, and you can see, now you can see the 40 grit lines in there. So hopefully the 80 grit will take that out. But I want to try this. This is the die grinder 80, but the 80 on the die grinder is a lot more aggressive than the 80 on the DA. I'm not sure why, but it's just the way it is. So let's try this real lightly, see what kind of results we get with that. All right, you can see that definitely was getting in there pretty good. I didn't want to dig in too hard. There was a few times that we went through, but just barely. I was trying to keep it, you know, pretty light. So that's the 80 grit. On this area, I'm gonna try 36 grit. Wow, this is really, feels more like that 40, but even harder, so. And it's on a DA, so it's gonna be really aggressive. We're gonna have to be careful. And I got a new 80 here. So I'm gonna hit this right here with a regular DA with the 80 and see how quickly we can get through it now that we've cut through some of these layers. Let's try it. All right, that DA with the 80 grit, after we kind of knocked it down, took it down pretty quick. We got a nice clean bare metal here with a nice 80 grit tooth. So those are working good. All right, let's try this. Forget what they're called. Let's try 36. 36 on the die grinder. Both of those work good. I think I like the 36 on the die grinder. It seems a little easier to control, and it seems to work a little faster. This works fast. You got to be careful because it'll cut in. It's okay if you're hitting metal. You just gotta not keep hitting that spot. But those both work good. I would say the 36 on the die grinder is better. So I'm gonna finish this side up with the 36 and we'll come back with the DA 80 on the DA and we'll get this side done. Let's do it. I wanted to show you guys this real quick. At some point in its life, this car was repainted. That's what this very top layer of paint is. You can kind of see it there. And underneath is the lighter blue that it was from the factory. And then you got a couple layers of primer. But right here you can see there's some filler right here. Just a little bit. So when they repainted the car, there may have been a low spot right here. So they put a little bit of filler right there. I just wanted to point that out. So we're going to be doing that when we go to do the body work on this car. Obviously there's going to be little low spots everywhere. So we'll probably end up putting filler over the whole car and blocking it down and doing the guide coat, blocking it down, guide coat, primer, all that stuff until we get it as smooth as possible. But yeah, that's just an example of where when they repainted it, there was a little dent or a low spot here that they filled in. But the little bit of time we've spent on this so far, we're getting this stripped down pretty good. Those few different techniques are working pretty good. So I like the 36, cuts in pretty good. It's quick, it's easy to control. And then I'm gonna get as much off with the 36 as I can. Come back with the 80 on the DA and get it looking like this all over. Let's do it. All right, so it's been a while since I've used this. And I remember now, it is actually pretty good because you can cut through the paint, primer, and rust right down to the metal. You don't have to worry about messing up the metal like you do on the DA, on the die grinder. Because this doesn't really cut into the metal. It does a little bit, but not bad at all. So this actually is pretty good. It's good to cut through some of that top layer with the 36 grit on the DA and then do some fine tuning with this. So it's been a while since I've done this, so I'm starting to kind of get my groove again. It seems like the 36 on the die grinder is good to get everything off the top layers down as far as you can go, and then come back with this and you can get it right down to the metal, and then you come back with the DA 80 grit to give you that final tooth for the primer. That's the plan. Let's keep going. So yeah, this thing's awesome. Forget the laser, forget everything else. Get some of these in a really good battery power grinder. Yeah, I gotta get some more of these. These are great. So you can see we've pretty much gotten all the way down the metal with this. Although we did go over it with the 36 and the 80, and you can kind of see some of the marks in here. So I'm gonna see if we can hopefully clean up these marks with a fresh 80 grit. Let's do it. Look at this though, right here at these curves. Right here in this peak here in the center. It just went along there and got in there, no problem. Very little scratches, just real smooth. All right, this side is pretty much done. I think I'll go over it one more time with a fresh 80 grit. And then I'm gonna put OSFO on here after I get this side done to protect it. So the OSFO will stay on there for a little while because we had to do the other side, but I'm not gonna get the other side done. The underbelly is gonna be even more difficult because of all the different shapes and valleys and stuff. But at the same time, the underside doesn't have to be as detailed. So, but there is some rust around the edges we gotta take care of. So yeah, it's looking pretty good, looking really good. And I'm not feeling any highs or lows except right here. I can feel it where they put the filler here. And you can see there's some rust here from where they put the filler. So I don't think they protected it properly before they put the filler on. But a little bit of rust in here and there, but you can barely feel it. I think one more time with the 80 grit, OSFO will get down in those pores and take care of the rest of that rust and protect it while we're working on the other side. When we're ready to put the epoxy on, I'll go back over it one more time and get that OSFO off of there, clean it up with some 80 grit, wipe it down, put the epoxy primer on it, and then we can do the filler where we need to and just block it down and get it ready. I'm gonna knock this out real quick, get this done, and then I'll show you putting the OSFO on. Let's do it. All right, there it is. It's looking pretty good. It is stripped down. We're gonna put some Ospo on here and let that do its thing. And then when we're ready to put the epoxy on, I'll go back over it a couple more times with 80 grit, smooth it out a little bit more. And we should be good for epoxy primer. And then do the blocking and find the low and high spots and get that worked out. But overall, this thing looks pretty good. I mean, it feels good. I'm not feeling any bumps, any big bumps or lows. No big highs, no big lows. So this should be pretty, this should be looking pretty good and straight. We got to put paint on it, hopefully. So obviously there's something going on here. I'm not sure why they put filler there, but I guess there's a little low spot. So we'll try to figure that out. Let's go ahead and get the Ospo on here. All right, let's get this Ospo on here. I'm gonna wipe it on this time, see how that works. If it works. Oh. Yeah, that's working. I like that. Yeah, that's working good. I usually spray it, but I wiped it that time. I think it worked. We'll see how it does when it dries up, but you can see it's already turning the rust black here. It's eating through it. It just neutralizes that rust. Gets down in those crevices. So we'll come back and check on it next time I come out here. Tomorrow or the next day, and we'll flip it over and get that sanded. All right, guys, stay tuned. I appreciate it. Make sure you go check out Classic Car Restoration Club. Those guys are awesome. Click on the link below, and we'll see you on the next one. Later.